Howdy, folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. And tonight we got a great show for you, as always. Oh, thank you all for being here. We're back on to the Shugborough Code, Shugborough. That's got to be it, Shugborough Code, and we're going to pick up right where we left off. Remember, Captain or Admiral George Anson. He won the battle with the ships on the Centurion. Went around the world and brought back a fortune in gold, silver, and jewels. And now he is a rich, famous man of adventure. He did what all the pirates and things did, and had his own adventure, lost hundreds of men, but yet he made it around the world, battled a ship, and stole a bunch of treasure and became famous for it. What do you think of that, huh? Anyway, let's go on, and we'll start right where we left off, and we are gonna, of course, I got pictures for you too. Thank you all for spending your valuable time with me tonight, and as always, we have like stuff. Let's see. Let's start out. We did Admiral George. This is him in his later years. We're gonna show this picture, and as it blinks off and on, there we go. It's the ghost of George Anson. Anson. Okay. He's blinking. He's blinking. I don't know why, but it's not blinking here. But that's the magic of video. He's talking to us. Well, let's go on with this. The man in sudden possession of a large fortune needs help. He can. Oh yeah, this book here is our mystery book. Ancient mysteries of real ones. And as he blinks in and out, it's for your entertainment. George Anson was now one of the richest men of his day. He had joined the Navy at the age of 12 and knew a great deal about the sea, fighting ships and commanding men. But what he did not know of was culture, philosophy, or art. Perhaps not so much. But now that he was fabulously wealthy, George, with the help of his brother Thomas, set about correcting this. The member of Parliament for the nearby Lichfield, Thomas Anson, had long wanted to improve the plain three-storied property which had been built in 1693 by his father, William. He went to the Shugborough's executive grounds to provide some scope for the kind of bold statement a modern British Englishman man could make. A veteran of the Grand Tour, Thomas Anson loved his classic antiquity, eager to reinvent himself as the kind of a Greco-Roman noble with his fortune in Spanish gold and silver to spend. He set about turning Shugborough into a kind of vast neoclassic theme park. Once finished, he had no doubt it would transform himself, his heroic brother George, and the rest of his family into standard bearers of enlightenment. The tidal wave of rational thinking, scientific inquiry, and newly informed artistic taste that had seized the age. With the money to employ some of the finest architects, designers, artists, and sculptors of the period, Anson commissioned architect, astronomer, and garden designer Thomas Wright of Durham to improve and enlarge the original 17th century house, renew his interior, and sculpt out a new landscape. He also employed the brilliant architect draughtsman James Arthinian Stewart to build life-size replicas of his favorite ancient Greco-Roman monuments. Stuart's duty set about constructing the Tower of the Winds, Landsword of the Diotheles, and the Arch of Herodion, and the Doric Temple, easily and most elegant, enigmatic of the survivors. The Shepherd's Monument is one of the concerns us most. Okay, let's see what we can do with this. See, it doesn't blink when I'm on there. But when I go to share, let's try this again. And voila, it's fixed. There we go. This is some of the Greek stuff that he was talking about. And there's the home. What a beautiful palace he has. The fine gardens. The stone, let's see, the Shepherd's Monument. Originally in a rough alcove or niche created in a wall of the, now let's go to the Shepherd's. This is the thing. This is the shepherd deal. Let's see, we got a better picture of this. Nope. Thought I had a good picture of the shepherds. Nope. I guess that's as far as we go. This is the picture they depicted here. There's the villa itself. And this is what we're concerned with right here. This is the alcove they're talking about. And anyway, here we go. Set originally in rough. Oh, I read that part. Okay. Shepherd's Monument is a marble bas relief copy of the 17th century French artist Nicolas Poussin's most famous and enigmatic painting, known both as Les Bears and in Arcadia Ego. Its meaning is still open to interpretation. The Ansons commissioned the renowned Dutch sculptor Peter Schumakers to make a new representation of the image in stone. Schumakers copy as the Poussin original, 3 shepherds and a woman. They gaze and or point at a tomb inscribed with the words "Et in Arcadia Ego." The subject is taken from Virgil Bucatins or Cotties, and before that from the Idyllus of Theocytrus. I'm probably mispronounced both of them. Sorry. Both poets imagine an era of ancient Greek Arcadia as a kind of rural utopia whose inhabitants live lives of guiltless intellectual inquiry and sensual outdoors pleasure. In the Poussin painting, the shepherds seem to be making some kind of moral point about the I, too, am in Arcadia motto. Most people believe this means that death is always among us, even in the midst of happiness, and it is a paradoxically brings its own rewards. The monument is flanked by a pair of Doric pillars cut with a pattern of incised lines. Why did Thomas Anson commission this monument? Was it at the Admiral's behest? Why, of all the paintings in the Western canon, did he ask the brilliant and very expensive sculptor Schumakers to copy Poussin's E and Arcadia Ego in the first place? The work has obviously a renaissance for a classical theme park of the type of the Ansons that they were creating. But why that particular image? The obvious explanation is that Anson simply admired Poussin's work. A less obvious and more intriguing answer is that he wanted to hide something and help the secret endure. though the centuries by shrouding in its mystery. To this end, he asked shoemakers to make a number of significant changes to Poussin's original. Taken together, these alterations can be read as a kind of code. But what does it mean? We don't know, do we? What is different? The scene has been reversed right to left as we were reviewing the image in the mirror, the stone mirror. The standing female figure has entirely disappeared. A pyramid replaces the rectangular tomb, and what looks like an ornate funerary casket has been placed beneath its apex. As you can see, here's the lady, and now she's standing here. It's changed a little bit from a different angle, and there's a tomb, there's a thing. The painting doesn't have that, but it's kind of the same, but different, all at the same time. There's more than the angle of the two standing shepherds. Staves or crooks, it's increased so that they now nearly conjoin. And looking very closely, we see that the head of the mythological Greek river god Thalpulus has been cunningly worked into the rock formation directly beneath the shepherd on the monument's left side. In the myth, Pythias has fallen in love with a beautiful nymph, Arthuthis, and the daughter of Nereus, one of Heracles, who look after the hidden paradise. To help Arthuthis elude the river god's attentions, Artemis, goddess of chastity, turns her into a spring, but the cunning Althapius even so possesses the nymph by mingling his own much greater streams with her. There are at least two further alterations. The older kneeling shepherd's hand has been repositioned in such a way that his thumb points to the letter R in the word Arcadia. And there is the mystery of the Shugborough Code itself. Okay. Shoemakers chiseled 10 letters into the flimp behind the bas relief, set out in this way. Well, let's take a look at that. And this, I got it here somewhere. This is the bas relief. What the heck is that? There, why is the D way over here, and why is the M way over there? That makes no sense. Okay, they make up a cipher known as the Shugborough Code. For more than 250 years, it has defied every attempt to solve it. Dickens, Darwin both tried and failed. More recently, Shugborough's management, in conjunction with the Bletchley Park, the Second World War code-breaking center that broke the top Nazi Enigma code, organized an open competition. This attracted more than 130 entries. The winner was an anonymous American cipher expert who worked for the U.S. government agency. He claimed to have discovered the numeric key 1223 scratched into the marble. This enabled him to decipher the message, Jesus H. DeFi. The H, he said, derived from the Greek letter X, an abbreviation of the word Christos, Savior. The winner claimed that this decoded DeFi Christ message, links that Shugborough Code directly to the Priory of Sion, a secret brotherhood made famous by Dan Brown in his best-selling novel, The Da Vinci Code. In Brown's story, the Priory of Sion guards the Holy Grail, the secret knowledge that Christ was mortal and not divine. He married and had a child by Mary Magdalene and their sacred bloodline survives to the present. The Knights Templar were also said to be in on the secret. When they had control of Jerusalem, the Jerusalem temple, a chosen few removed the vital and potential world-changing evidence of Christ's mortal bloodline from the undercroft. In the version of the story, this included Mary Magdalene's bones. King Philip II of France smashed the Templar order on Friday the 13th, November 1307. As Philip's murderous henchmen closed in, the story goes on to tell us that a core group of knights escaped with the sacred knowledge. They took initial refuge in an ancient Abyssinian fortress of Carcassonne in the southern France. From there, they disappeared either to Roslin Chapel in Scotland or to Nova Scotia in Canada, where they hid both themselves and their great secret. Can we believe that the Great Grail of French writer Christian de Troyes' late 14th century poem, Prevacle the Story of the Grail, actually refers not to the cup of Christ, but to the sangreal or royal blood of Jesus and the children he had with Mary Magdalene. Children whose descendants became the Merovingian monarchs of France from the 5th to the 8th century, and whose bloodline continues up to this present day. Dan Brown starts the Da Vinci Code in this way. The Priory of Sion, a European secret society founded in 1099, is a real organization. In fact, at least in its original incarnation, the Priory of Sion was a hoax concocted with 1960s by Pierre Platard and Philippe de Christieri, who, the two French adventurers looking in to improve their fortunes. Platard claimed he was Grand Master of the Priory of Sion. As such, he claimed he was the living incarnation of the Holy Blood and a direct descendant of the Merovingian royal line. This made him not just the rightful heir to the throne of France, but the living embodiment of Christ's mortal bloodline on earth. He has since died. Brown's backs up his story by citing a series of parchments known as Les Dortes Secrets, accidentally discovered in France's prestigious Bible Fiction Nationale. These supposedly list the members of the Priory of Sion, who include Sir Isaac Newton, Sandro Botticelli, Victor Hugo, and Leonardo da Vinci. In reality, and in the effort to lend their fraud credibly, the hoaxers planted the parchments in the French National Library in 1967. A 2005 British TV investigation by actor and presenter Tony Robinson thoroughly exposed the deceit. But if there was no Priory of Sion, then the anonymous American codebreaker in 2004 solution of the Shugborough Code competition is wrong, and the cipher remains unbroken. Are there any other clues to this meaning? Numerous books, TV documentaries, and articles have attempted to prove some connection between the southern French village of Rennes-le-Château, the Holy Grail. We are going to move on to this. Look at the figuring these people did. Look at that. None of the holy convincing, but the Rennes tale is quite fabulous. It involves a priestly murder, the Knights Templar, the Franks, the Viscots, the Freemasons, the The Shugborough Hall, substantial catches of gold in the local countryside, and just about anything else you can cram in. One of the most entertaining ideas is that if we can only unravel them, clues in the secret pennacular geometry of Poisson's Les Burgers Arcadia proves that the location to a fabled hoard of treasure. In this version of things, the Shugborough Code is the final piece of the puzzle that leads to the buried gold. Many have tried to solve the puzzle. No one has yet come away with the loot. The Shugborough Monument is dedicated to George Anson's wife, Elizabeth York, daughter of Lord Chancellor Hardwicke. Anson's family correspondence hints that Thomas was in love with his brother's catacomb wife. If true, then the Shugborough Code may have absolutely nothing to do with hidden treasure. Christ, Mary Magdalene, Rene de Chateau, or the pennacular geometry. It may simply be Thomas Anson's own very personal way of commemorating Elizabeth. A quotation from the anonymous 18th century Shugborough poem lends some weight to this interpretation. Let not the muse inquisitive pursue. This is the poem. Let not the muse inquisitive presume, with rash interpretation to disclose the mystic ciphers that conceal her name. This does not explain all the alterations Thomas had shoemakers make to the Les Burgers Arcadia. However, you care to shake them up? Do the letters DOUOSVAVVM work or don't work as an encoded version of the name Elizabeth? A quote from one of his contemporaries tells us that Thomas Anson was much given to hanging over the monument of contemplation. But that still does not help us decipher the code. Does anyone have an idea what it means? I guess not. So that's the Shugborough Code. And if you give me a second, we're going to stop share on this. We're going to go back. And as you say, some people have mapped this all out, trying to figure out the code. Here's the Knights Templar. Were they in on it hundreds of years ago? I don't think so. So we're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna stop sharing, and then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna go here. We're gonna put up something else. We're gonna see what this says. The Shugborough Code, people, could be interesting. And we'll Google it. Of course, that's what it would be. There we go. Did it ever get solved? Oh, yeah. Let's see. Did it get solved? 200 mysteries. Code solved. Of course. Code is solved. Okay, let's go to this, people. We're gonna share because we want to find out what it really means. And there we go. 200-year-old mystery and Shugborough Code solved. Linguistic expert believes he has solved the mysterious sequence of letters on the stately Holmes Monument in Staffordshire. Okay, the linguistic expert has cracked the Shugborough Code. The letters, what does it mean? Fear of truce until the Crusades. What does he say? Mr. Martin explains the letters could be linked to a couple relations of Thomas Anson, who built the monument in the 1700s. The letters are cryptic, ancient love note, And the Holy Grail is, in fact, a cup of love. Indeed, allegedly safeguarded by the Knights Templar. Inscription is a folly without meaning. It's carved to simply tease future generations. It's a tease. Following previous investigations, spokesman said, we get 5 or 6 people a week who believe they have solved the code. So we have a bit to go from them now. And I think that's it. So basically, it doesn't mean anything. And so there you go. 3 V's close together is significant from some trains site. I assume any time you have a letter that occurs more often than others, you are looking at an important clue. Instead, the mains or ancestral spirits of the underworld initials are found in very early Christian tombs and inscriptions. Mr. Massey explained the clue to the correct interpretation of the longer series of letters. The inscription was intended to be understood as a tomb memorial composed in Latin. So everybody has their thing. Nobody's really ever solved it. Let's see what else it says. No, that ain't what we want. I guess there we go. Deciphered. Inscription deciphered. Let's go to inscription deciphered. Let's see. Yes, here. Shugborough inscription ranked among the world's 10 most unsolved mysteries. That's still unsolved. The tackle toughest code will be revealed. Unsolved mysteries, 2016. Rosicrucian Code, document called Two Grails. Let's see, anything more on it? Yep, nope. Let's see. Latin, original painting. Let's see. Nope. Still unsolved, people. Still unsolved. Why would somebody do that? Is a big hoax? You think they did it as a big hoax? Well, with that, we can only dream about that. Big hoax. Rich man playing jokes on others. A mysterious inscription. Only the man who wrote it knows what it is. And those who will come after him will think for centuries trying to figure it out. Secret of the universe, people. That's the secret of the universe. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. Another day. Here we are. Very good. Thank you all. I appreciate you all so much for joining me and finding out the mystery of the Shugborough Code. And we'll be doing another one soon. Maybe not on this, but something else. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, go out and do something nice for somebody else. And remember, be the frequency you want to receive, everyone. Peace, everybody.